Hello and welcome everyone to Coach's Corner, a preseason edition, if you will. Zach By alongside John Battolino, the head women's lacrosse coach here at the University at Albany. And Coach, welcome to Coach's Corner, first of all.
Zach, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start right at the top. How has the preseason been going so far, and what do you think of your team?
Well, like everyone else, we're struggling with the weather, and but I like the way we've handled it in terms of just moving around, handling the cold, and actually I've been somewhat pleased with what we've been able to get out of practice, and I think we're kind of shaping up into a explosive squad.
How much has the weather bothered you this year as opposed to years past?
It bothers. I mean, every year it does. I mean, you kind of have a short memory, and you always hope it's better than the year before. Quite not as bad, but you just you're doing what you can in terms of just quality of practice and space, and then they get moving pretty good, and you obviously you just always want more space, and you want the best conditions you can have, and Mother Nature has something to do with that, and you figure it out, and and so do they. So we've done well with it.
Okay. The preseason poll that came out, the opposing coaches and sports information directors voting on these sorts of things. You guys were picked second in the league behind Stony Brook. Other people's opinions of your team aside, what are your own expectations for 2015?
I do. I don't put too much. I don't put any emphasis on those, or in terms of. I just look in terms of what I see, kind of as a, almost a mold in terms of how are we going to mold them based on what I have in the fall. And usually those first few weeks I just kind of look, and I'm not always quite sure what we're going to be. This year was a little bit less because we lost some key people that I just could depend on. But what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, I'm like, okay, now I know. Excuse me. I just feel that they're capable, and it's fun because we're such a young unit that they're going to make some growing. They're going to have some growing pains, but I really like what they're seeing and in how they're executing.
Well, and a part of that mix has got to be Rachel Bowles, who was just named to a preseason third-team All-American by Inside Lacrosse magazine. Talk about what she brings to the table and your expectations for Bowles this year.
Rachel's just explosive player. I mean, she really, she was injured a lot last year. Played through some injuries, and still just a really dynamic player, and probably one of the most modest kids that you'll ever come across. And she also has the ability to make players around her better, just because they key on her more. She's very unselfish with the ball. Sometimes to a fault, and she's just fun to watch play, and especially when she gets going. And I've had to move her around a little bit just because of injuries in the past. And I think this year I really look forward to seeing her just really take off. And I've been around the game for a while, and she is one of the best that I've ever seen.
Wow, that's high praise. Last question before we let you get out and go to practice. Talk about your schedule this year.
I believe we have 4 teams on our schedule that played in the tournament last year. And again, I mean, we play Syracuse more towards the end, North Carolina in a couple of weeks. I mean, all those are going to be, I'm looking forward to the competition, and just seeing what the kids can do against just quality programs, and I want to see them just gain a feel for what it takes to play that type of schedule day in and day out. I really think it's gonna help us a lot.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Right,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that was John Battolino, head women's lacrosse coach here at the University of Albany. I'm Zach By. I hope you can catch us next time as we preview the rest of the non-league schedule. So long, everyone.